Our dear viewers, I welcome you to Pokopoko News at Night. I'm KALYANGO ANORLD, your #1 news presenter at MRIU. Before I drive in, always keep yourself updated at MRIU for in-depth stories and updates. Here are the clear headlines. Kenya reallocates 50 elephants to a larger park as population thrives. Tourism Minister Rebecca Miano over the translocation of 50 elephants to the expansive Aberdare National Park.
Kenya is suffering from a problem of albeit a good one. The elephant population in the 42 square kilometers (16 square mile) Moya National Reserve east of the capital Nairobi has flourished from its maximum capacity of 50 to a whopping 156, overwhelming the ecosystem and requiring the location of about 100 of the largest land animals. It hosted 49 elephants in 1979 and their population has really grown. On Monday, Tourism Minister Rebecca Miano oversaw the translocation of 5 elephants to the expensive Aberdare National Park located in the central Kenya. 50 other elephants are set to be located till further notice. Experts started reallocating 50 elephants last week to the expensive 780 square kilometers (301 square kilometers) Aberdare National Park in central Kenya. As on Monday, 44 elephants had been moved from Moya to Aberdare. This proves that poaching in areas of Kenya such as Moya has really declined. I remain KALYANGO ANORLD, the reporter from MRIU TV station.
Kenyan Senate launches impeachment against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The upper house has so far voted on Thursday to impeach the 59-year-old on 11 charges. For clear updates, let's hear from Akakunda Bonita.
Kenya Senate launches impeachment hearings against Deputy President. High Court green lights proceedings after lawmakers voted last week to impeach Rigathi Gachagua for abuse of the office. Kenya's Senate began impeachment hearings against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. After hours, a court ruled that the proceedings against him are constitutional. The lower house of parliament, the National Assembly, voted last week to impeach Gachagua on 11 charges, including corruption, undermining the government and others, which the 59-year-old denied. The news is being reported by your reporter, Akakunda Bonita.
Israel-Lebanon campaign resumes strikes on hospital courtyard. Israel military jets targeted the capital early on Tuesday for the first time on 10th October. For further details, Banobi Emmanuel.
Israel's Lebanon campaign resumes strike on hospital courtyard. Israel has resumed air strikes on Beirut despite objections from the United States over the way it's conducting its campaign in Lebanon. Israel's military jets targeted the capital early on Wednesday for the first time since 10th October. 3 strikes were reported to have hit the southern suburb of the city. The attack came despite Washington having expressed concern over the scope of Israel's attack on Beirut. At the same time, the US continues to support Israel's work in Lebanon and Gaza, in which it says it aims to destroy Hezbollah and Hamas.
Global conflicts driving up to 21,000 deaths daily from hung Oxfam. Grand Egyptian Museum partially opens to the public. over 20 years, the construction of museum. The Grand Museum opens its main hall on Wednesday. Nsubuga Eric will supplement for further details.
Grand Egyptian Museum partially opened to the public. After over 20 years of construction, the Grand Egyptian Museum opened its main hall on Wednesday. A highly unexpected museum housing the world's largest collection of ancient Egyptian artifacts has opened the doors to some of its galleries. More than 20 years in the making, the Spire 120 Grand Egyptian Museum near the pyramids of Giza will showcase more than 100,000 objects, including treasures from the tombs of King Tutankhamun. The Boeing's priceless collection is yet to be displayed, but visitors can now see items varying from Parthenon statues to mummified bodies. The museum was initially scheduled to open in 2012, but costs, political traumas, and later the COVID-19 pandemic caused repeated delay. Today, the mega project has cost more than $1 billion. The partial opening is a trial run following the latest year's coming of the main hall stairway. The official opening day yet to be announced. Here we correct some of the most striking pictures of the newly opened galleries.
Welcome to Pokopoko News, MRIU TV. These are the headlines. Mayor and 15 others killed in Israel strike in Lebanon Council meeting. The UN Special Coordinator for Lebanon has criticized Israel after airstrikes on multiple buildings in the southern city of Nebativ, which killed the mayor and 15 other people. Let's hear more from Nsubuga Eric.
Mayor and other 15 killed in Israel strike on Lebanon Council meeting. The UN Special Coordinator for Lebanon has criticized Israel after a strike on municipal building in the southern city of Nablus, killed the mayor and 15 other people. Dean hence called the killing of Mayor Ahmed alerting and said any violation of international humanitarian law were completely unacceptable. At least 5 of those killed in Wednesday's strike were municipal staffs coordinating aid for civilians remaining in the area. Lebanonese caretaker Prime Minister Najib condemned the attack, saying it had internationally targeted a council meeting. The attack was the most significant against a Lisbon state building since the last escalation in fighting, when began about 2 weeks ago, and has raised concern about the safety of the country's state infrastructure. A spokesman for the Israel military said its forces had launched raids targeting dozens of Hezbollah targets in the area and destroyed a tunnel used by the Iran-backed group. We know that Hezbollah many times take advantage of civilian facilities, Israel's UN ambassador Danny Don said at a meeting of the UN in New York City on Wednesday. Residents of Daha had begun to return the area over the past few days, taking advantage of apparent pause in bombing to check on their homes and retrieve clothes and other possessions. The strike on Daha came just hours after a U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew publicly expressed concern over the scope and nature of Israel's bombing of Beirut. Israel has faced criticisms this week over its warning, which internationally has caused inadequate and misleading. Nsubuga Eric, MRIU TV.
Worst drought in century devastates southern African millions at risks. More than 27 lives affected by worst drought in a century, with 21 million children malnourished. Let KALYANGO ANORLD supplement more.
Millions of people across southern Africa are going hungry due to historical drought, risking a full-scale humanitarian catastrophe. The United Nations warned Lesotho, Malawi, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe all declared state of national disaster in the past month as drought destroyed crops and livestock. Angola and Mozambique are also severely affected, the UN's World Food Programme said in a briefing on Tuesday.
A 20-year-old Palestinian man who was contained to a hospital bed and connected on a VIP drip.
Palestinian man burned alive after Israel's strike on hospital courtyard. A 20-year-old Palestinian man who was confined to a hospital bed and connected to an IV drip burned to death after an Israeli strike on a Gaza hospital courtyard where displaced people had been seeking shelter. Good evening, our viewers. I'm Banobi Emmanuel Report. This is Pokopoko News at MRIU TV, live at 9. These are the headlines making top stories tonight. New Zealand beats Pakistan to enter Women's T20 World Cup semi-finals. New Zealand have sealed their place in the semi-finals of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup after beating Pakistan by 54 runs in their final group game in Dubai. Our reporter Akankunda Bonta has more in details.
New Zealand beat Pakistan to enter Women's T20 World Cup semi-finals. New Zealand have sealed their place in the semi-finals of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup after beating Pakistan by 54 runs in their final group game in Dubai. New Zealand booked their place in the semi-finals of the Women's T20 World Cup with a comprehensive 54 run win over Pakistan in Dubai. Pakistan needed to chase their target of 111 within 10.4 over to keep themselves in knockout concentration via net run rate, but paid the price for the aggressive intent by slapping to 56 all out in 11.4.
Students in Pakistan continue protests against alleged Rahul campus rape. Students in the eastern Pakistan city of Rahul have continued their protest after reports of a rape on a college at campus. Our reporter Akankunda Bonta has more in details.
Students in Pakistan continue protest against alleged Rahul campus rape. Students in the eastern Pakistan city of Rahul have continued their protest after reports of a rape on a campus colleague. Protests erupted in Rahul after the report spread online that a student was raped by a security guard at a Punjabi college for women campus. The incident was first shared on social media over the weekend. Varying accounts state that the rape took place on Thursday or Friday evening in a campus.
Nigerian fuel tank explosion kills more than 100. A devastating tank explosion has resulted in the death of 150 people and injured dozens more, causing chaos in Nigeria. Our reporter KALYANGO ANORLD has more in details.
More than 150 people have been killed and dozens of others wounded after overturned fuel tank exploded in the northern-western Nigeria. The car crash on Tuesday night took place on an expressway in Jiwa State. People then crashed to the vehicle to collect fuel. Police spokesman Luwen Shui Adam said on Wednesday the tank had traveled about 110 kilometers (62 miles) from neighboring Kano State. The residents who were hoping up fuel from the overturned tanker when the explosion occurred, sparkling massive inferno. Officials said on Thursday that the death toll had risen to 153 as mass funerals were being held.
105 lives presently, and about 85 people are in different hospitals. This strategy is a very serious strategy. We have a oil tanker explosion.
As burial for the victims had been held in Majua town in the Taura area of northern Jiwa State. After the crash, there are late on Tuesday night. The driver lost highway accordingly. I remain KALYANGO ANORLD at MRIU TV station.
Kenya's Ruth Chepngetich broke the world record to win the Chicago Marathon on Sunday. The 30-year-old clocked a time of 2 hours, 9 minutes and 57 seconds to surpass Ethiopian Tista Sefer's previous record by nearly 2 minutes. Our reporter Banobi Emmanuel has more in details. Kenya's Ruth Chepngetich broke the world record to win the Chicago Marathon on Sunday. The 30-year-old clocked a time of 2 hours, 9 minutes and 57 seconds to surpass Ethiopian Tista Sefer's previous record by nearly 2 minutes. Chepngetich is the first woman to run a marathon in under 2 hours and 10 minutes. Sefer set the previous record with victory at 2023 Berlin Marathon in 2 hours, 11 minutes and 53 seconds. Victory for Chepngetich is her third in Chicago, where she missed out on breaking compatriot Brig Koskei's then world record by 14 seconds in 20. Israel will respond to Iran based on national interests. Israel will listen to the United States make final decisions based on its national interests, the Israel Prime Minister's office said. Our reporter Eric has more in details.
Israel responds to Iran based on national interests. Israel will listen to the US but make final decision based on its national interests, the Iran Prime Minister officer said. As speculation is over, its response to a major Iranian missile attack continues. Iran launched at least 200 ballistic missiles towards Israel on 1st October. Most of the projectiles were intercepted, Iran's military said. The overnight Israel statement sent alongside a link the Washington Post act said, "We listen to the American government's thoughts, but we make our final decision based on Israel's national security need," according to an anonymous official quoted in the Post. Iran's retaliatory strike would be designed to avoid the appearance of political interference in the upcoming US presidential elections, which is less than a month away. Analysts have said a hit on Iranian oil facilities could push up oil prices and therefore affect the polls, which currently suggests a close race between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. The price of crude oil shot up 5% at the beginning of the month, immediately after President Biden spoke about the possibilities of an Israel strike on Iran's oil infrastructure. On 4th October, Biden went further, signaling the US could also oppose an Israel strike on Iran's oil facilities. "If I were in their shoes, I would be thinking about other alternatives than striking Iran's oil fields," he said during a news conference. Iran said its October missile barrage was a response to Israel's assassinations of the Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and a senior Iranian Revolutionary Guard officer in Britain, and of the Harris leader's Ismail in Tehran. Israel has dramatically escalated its campaign against Iran-backed Hezbollah in the recent weeks, carrying out deadly airstrikes predominantly in the southern and eastern Lebanon and also in the capital. But that Israel and Hezbollah had been trading cross-border fire on a near daily basis since last October, when Hezbollah began firing into Israel, which it said was a show of support for Palestinians in Gaza. He had said it could stop firing if there was a ceasefire in Gaza. So Eric, MRU TV.